Welcome, everyone. I'm Narisa Paglinowan, Program Manager of the Asian Arts and Culture Center at Towson University. First, I would like to let everyone know that this program is being recorded. Also, I recommend using a good set of headphones or stereo speakers to fully enjoy the music that will be played for you tonight. If you require captioning, you can view the transcript in a separate window by going to the stream text link we'll put in the chat. Thank you all for joining us for this virtual concert by Dongxi, featuring Chao Tian on Chinese dulcimer and Tom Teasley on percussion, presenting music from their forthcoming album, The Way. This program is part of Asianorth 2021. Asianorth is our annual collaborative community celebration that recognizes, showcases, and honors the art, culture, and the Asian heritage of Greater Baltimore, especially the Korean history of Baltimore's Charles North community, part of the Station North Arts and Entertainment District. We still have a couple virtual events coming up. Artist Margaret Huey will lead 2 virtual workshops, Zine Making 101 on Friday, April 30th, and Making Stories with Where We're From on Friday, May 7th. Registration links can be found in the chat. Margaret Huey is one of the 24 regional Asian and AAPI artists whose works are featured in the Asianorth 2021 art exhibition. The exhibit is both online and in person, socially distanced throughout Station North in the window displays of Motor House, Joe Squared, the Parkway Theater, North Avenue Market, Impact Hub Baltimore, and Nancy by Snack. The physical installation will be up through May 15th, so if you are in or near the Baltimore area, please do go down to Station North to check it out. The exhibit will also be featured as part of the Station North Shines Art Walk happening on Friday, May 7th. See the full schedule of Asianorth events and the online exhibit at towson.edu/Asianorth. In addition to our Asianorth events, please check out AA and CC's Spring 2021 Elevation programming, honoring AAPI experiences. It's also part of Asian Arts and Culture Center's 50th anniversary celebration. So it includes the exhibition Fan Hong, a bag of rocks for a bag of rice. Hong's site-specific installation engages East Asian gardens as a case study exploring histories of empire, wealth, privilege, exploitation, ecological extraction, and displacement behind their creation. The exhibit can be viewed online, and we're excited to announce that we will be reopening the Asian Arts Gallery beginning in May to not just the Towson University community, but also to members of the general public who are now allowed on the Towson University campus. We will be limited to accommodating only 6 people in the gallery at a time, still masked and socially distanced. Please email asianarts@towson.edu to make an appointment to see Hong's site-specific installation in person. We still have a limited number of Korean kite making kits that integrate art, social studies, and engineering. You can order them online through the link in the chat. AA and CC's other online exhibition is Anak, My Child, by artist Lek Verkaderen Borja, who weaves history with personal experience to better understand her memories of displacement and their effect on shaping her as a person. You can view the exhibit online at towson.edu/Anak. Before introducing tonight's musicians, I'd like to note that the Asian Arts and Culture Center is a self-support department of Towson University, kind of like a small nonprofit. That means we have to raise all of the funds needed for our operations and programs, from memberships, grants, sponsorships, and individual donations. Thanks to all of you who have already donated tonight. Every dollar counts. If you have not donated already, please do so by going to the bit.ly link we'll put in the chat. You can also find donation links on our website at towson.edu/asianarts. I would now like to thank the major partners and supporters of Asianorth 2021. Asianorth 2021 is co-produced by the Asian Arts and Culture Center and Central Baltimore Partnership. Our sponsors and partners include E. Rhodes and Leona B. Carpenter Foundation, Maryland State Arts Council, Yoshinobu and Kathleen Shiota, AA and CC members, citizens of Baltimore County, William D. Baker Jr. Memorial Fund, TD Bank, PNC Bank, BB&T Truist, Towson University, Station North Arts District, Mike Schechter, Motor House, North Avenue Market, SNF Parkway Theater, Impact Hub Baltimore, Joe Squared, Nancy by Snack, Charm City Night Market, WYPR, Asian Pacifica Arts Collective, Guppy Management Services, Community Housing Partners, Brown Rice Korean Grill, Johns Hopkins University, Baltimore Kawasaki Sister Cities Committee, Baltimore Changwon Sister Cities Committee, and the Baltimore Jewelry Center. And I've mentioned this in the past, but yes, as you see in that long list, it really does take a village. At the end of tonight's program, we'll have a brief Q&A session with the musicians. I encourage you to post your questions and comments in the chat, and we'll address as many of them as we can. We'll also ask you to complete an online event survey, which helps us with future programming. Chao Tian is a renowned Chinese dulcimer virtuoso who has been featured in the prestigious Artist in Residence program at the Strathmore Music Center in Bethesda, Maryland. Her boundary-breaking virtuosity has led to numerous cross-disciplinary collaborations with many acclaimed musicians, performing in over 30 countries around the world. Teasley is an award-winning world percussionist who has been described in the Washington Post as a multi-instrumental genius. He maintains a unique career as a solo percussionist, composer, and collaborator, and before the pandemic had been touring frequently throughout the world. Chao Tian and Teasley bring Chinese dulcimer and world percussion together in conversation as the world music duo Dongxi, which means east-west in Mandarin. Dongxi's musical dialogues are based on the Taoist philosophy Wu Wei, meaning action through inaction. By creating beautiful music through respecting, listening, and reacting, the duo offers a model for resolving conflict and organizing chaos mindfully and organically. Here is Dongxi performing music from their forthcoming album, The Way.
Good evening, everyone. I really hope you enjoyed the first tune, Nice Heaven. So, this is an impromptu inspired by the myth of the nine heavens in Taoism, which is originated from a religion originated from China. We were trying to tell the story, to depict a story that a man who was struggling with all the difficulties and tried to climbing up to the top of the heaven, because in Taoism culture, there they believe there are nine layers of the heaven. So the top is the one is a perfect area which people can reach the eternal harmony and the real peace. So I'm Chao Tian, a part of a musical duo Dongxi, and you are seeing my fabulous collaborator Tom Teasley on the screen as well. Hi, Tom. Good to
Hello.
see you again.
Well, it's yeah, we've had a long day. Chao and I started off at about 6:30, setting up for a program that we did that was simulcast to Roanoke, Virginia, and also to Shanghai, China. And I think that it serves as a testament to to the power of overcoming this situation and finding a way to flourish in it. But we are so delighted to be here and joining you today, and thank you so much, Asia North, for featuring us and sharing our music. And we look forward to talking about our instruments and more music as we go forward. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Tom. So just like Nerissa mentioned before, our music of tonight is from our coming album, The Way. We're planning to have it by the end of May, the physical album, the CD. So this album is inspired by the wisdom and ways of Taoism. The title, The Way, which means Tao. So as I mentioned, Taoism is a religion and a philosophy originated from ancient China. Tom and I both really like some of the concepts from this religion, like the concepts leave space. That means give each other more space, and the simplicity. And another very important concept, Wu Wei. For that one, I'll introduce it later. So normally Taoist music are recognized with a very meditative style, but actually in China, it is mostly represented as ritualistic music with a strong sense of dramatic style and very religion style. So for our edition of Taoist music, you can feel is very different from the other style. We were trying to use our musical vocabularies to narrate every story of Tao. Let's enjoy another music first. The next one is called Earthly Realm. hope you like it. So the music Earthly Rhyme, I think we initially named this track with a name Mallets because as you sing, Tom were playing the drum with the soft head mallets. So when I heard Tom was playing softer sounds with those mallets in the recording studio, it reminds me a beautiful scene that I saw in northwestern China. It was a beautiful little village, and at that morning I saw people cooking breakfast, and the smoke from the kitchen chimney was so beautiful toward to the sky. So I made a melody based on the northwestern folk music style. The next music is called Mirage. You will hear the sand sounds at the very beginning, just like I heard during the recording session. That's why the desert picture just came into my mind immediately. So here is Mirage. So thank you. I hope you enjoy it. So it's the time I would love to have Tom demonstrate a little bit about his fabulous instrument and talk about his beautiful thoughts about our collaboration.
Well, thank you, Chao, and once again, thank you everybody for attending our program. It's interesting to me the way that Chao and I are coming together from different cultures and the way that we're finding a way to interact. Chao is taking a very traditional Chinese instrument and doing some techniques and scales that are non-traditional. I, on the other hand, have taken a concept of an American jazz drum set and repurposed it. So I'm using a timbale from Cuba as a bass drum. I'm using a djembe from Africa as my snare drum, and bongos where tom-toms would be, and a pandeiro here. So that allows me to, and of course cymbals and gongs as you see. So that allows me to tap into a lot of the American jazz tradition in terms of the way that I play. So it would be possible for me to play, as you saw, something that sounds kind of like a jazz drum set. I could also go and replicate maybe the sound of Indian tabla drums with the pandeiro and the djembe. Even though these are not tablas, they convey that feeling to me. And I don't know if you can see, but I'm sitting on a cajon, so I can play that, and that replicates a little bit the sound of a drum set kind of used in like a funk or rock. Now, if I play the cajon and the djembe together, it kind of brings the, and we do that some in the program. It reminds me of some of like the Al Green recordings where there's a drum set and a conga playing at the same time. So I'm very interested in embracing my heritage as an American musician, an American drummer, but expanding the palette. I've traveled frequently as a cultural envoy for the United States State Department, and I was in Iraq several years ago and have traveled all throughout the region of the Middle East. And I became very fascinated with this drum. This is the generic term is called a frame drum, and this specific one is the boron from Ireland. But I play techniques that have almost nothing to do with the traditional boron being played with tipper. So there is an ancient style of drumming from ancient Mesopotamia where you snap your fingers. But I also borrow a technique from South Italy that they use on their tamburella. And this is a stroke I borrowed from flamenco guitar playing. These are strokes from Indian tabla playing. And this is a stroke I borrowed from Afro-Cuban conga playing. So just to see how that might work. There's one other instrument that you'll probably see, and it is one of Chao's favorites, and it's the only melodic instrument that I play that meets her strict criteria of intonation. And this is a handpan that's made for me in Russia by the Rav Vast people, and I think it's a very magical sound. So I don't want to give away all my secrets, but you'll have a chance to see some more of the instruments and some more of our music coming up. So thank you. I hope you enjoyed that little demonstration.
Thank you, Tom. So I heard this demonstration many times, but I still can learn something new from his talking. That's fabulous. And yeah, the next one is called Journey of Lao Tzu. Obviously, Lao Tzu is the founder of Taoism, but this music sounds like a little bit related to Middle Eastern style. Why? Because there is a story about Lao Tzu. So you might heard this term, a journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step. It is a quotation from chapter 64. I did research of Dao De Jing, ascribed to Lao Tzu, who is the founder of Taoism. So it says Lao Tzu went to the Western world and he rode on a buffalo, and he went to Western world for a fantastic trip. And he experienced, explored many fabulous things. And he met with creatures on the road, like fantastic creatures, people. And there are a lot of stories on his journey. So that's why I think this Middle Eastern style music relate to a little bit about Lao Tzu's journey. So that's why here is Journey of Lao Tzu. Hope you enjoy it. Thank you. Thank you. I really love this journey, and I think I guess Lao Tzu is a pretty cool guy. I don't know. I just love his words, love his philosophy, and all stories about him are my favorite. So the next music is called Willow. I'd love to have Tom introduce a little bit about our recording process.
Thank you. Well, Willow is based on the Taoist philosophy of overcoming firmness with gentleness. It is something that I think is important to do with music as well as life. And we're looking to portray the idea of a willow being gently swayed by the gentle breeze. And so I hope that's what you think of when you hear it.
So that's Willow.
Our next
Before, yeah. So before we went to the next song, I would like to get back to the concept I mentioned before, Wu Wei, that Taoist concept. Wu Wei, it spells with WUWEI. So it means action through inaction and refers to the behavior that conforms to the resolution through profound thinking. That's the definition I found online. I don't know if the translation is perfect, but I think that's the better one I found for you. So I started to pay attention on this concept since I became an improviser. Between our collaboration between Tom and I. So we both have a different musical education background. Like Tom, he has like very strong jazz and a classic background. I have folk and classic, both in Chinese style. Initially, I was very anxious about how can I match myself with a jazz accent with not only in this collaboration, also happening in the other collaborations. I was very struggling with if I need to figure out the chords, the scales, if I play with a jazz person. So, but gradually I realized, why shouldn't I just follow my heart, just follow my nature, follow my accent to talk my language? And I think that is part of the beautiful part of a Wu Wei. So for now I use that concept to solve all conflicts happened in collaborations. Does it make sense? Yeah. So yeah, that's and I consider myself as a willow, like be gentle and humble, learn from the others. Yeah. So the next one is called Checkmate. Tom, would you like to talk a little bit about that?
I'd be happy to. So, checkmate deals with the concept of action and then leaving space. So, it can depict a chess game. It could also depict an intense conversation. So, I like to think of all the work that Chao and I do as basically a musical conversation. So, we hope you enjoy this and listen to the action and the space.
Thank you very much. I don't know who's the winner of this chess game. Can you tell? So now I bet you are, Tom. Yeah, so before the next music, I'm going to demonstrate my instrument a little bit. So I'm in my basement with my beautiful dulcimer, I guess. So some of you might sing Appalachian hammer dulcimer. So we call it American dulcimer before, but this one, it's a Chinese version dulcimer. Also the hammer dulcimer, they are from the same instrument family, they're from the same category. So Chinese dulcimer has a very, compared to the other traditional Chinese instrument, this one is, the history is pretty short, but also have 500 years old. I mean, the instrument history, not my instrument. So, my instrument, my dulcimer has 147 strings, weighs 1, 2, 3, 4, 4 octaves in G major. And Chinese dulcimer, when we play it, we use bamboo hammers, which is very different from the American dulcimer. So because those hammers are made of wood, hardwood. So our hammers are very flexible. If you can see, when I do the single row with one hand, it, yeah, is very quick. And if I use that technique on the dulcimer, it sounds like this. And also we can change the side of the hammers to make it sharp to imitate santur, Indian santur or Middle Eastern santur. Yes. And in China, we use dulcimer often accompany the other traditional instrument and also play a leading role, I guess, in the ensemble, traditional ensemble, just like a conductor. If there is no conductor, dulcimer will be the conductor. So every time when we start, we have a gesture like 1, 2, like that. So that's pretty awkward sometimes. That's it. Okay, let's back to the music. The next music is called Immortals, another competition, but between two immortals. That story is from the famous 8 immortals of Taoism. These 2 immortals' name is Lü Dongbin and Tie Guaili. So they all have very interesting personalities. And in the music, I was trying to create very interesting dialogue to tell a picture. These 2 immortals were fighting with each other with their magic. And at the very end, I added 3 times love. So you can guess who's the winner this time. Thank you. Did you get the idea of the 3 times laughing at the very end? So yeah, that's a good try. Before I started to introduce the next piece, Tom, would you like to give a brief introduction about our recording process? Because I bet people are curious about our improvisation, if it improvisation or we have sheet music. Do we have sheet music?
Wait, what's that? I thought music came from the instruments, not the sheet. So the recording process is very much a microcosm of our performing process, and that is we come to the table with nothing but open hearts and open ears in our instruments. That's not to say that we don't practice, although we haven't been practicing as much as we did prior, but we'll practice a musical concept. So we'll practice slowing down and speeding up together. We'll practice playing random notes that are not in rhythm and trying to intuit where the other is going to play. We'll practice playing and trading back and forth. Well, once again, I always like to go back to the concept of a conversation, because I think that music really does express what humans cannot express with words. And when you open yourself to that possibility, then that's where the magic happens in music. To me, magic does not happen when you're looking at the sheet music and reading it perfectly. And I've spent a fair amount of time doing that, but I never found the magic there. Maybe there's magic there, but to me the magic is opening your heart, and if you're collaborating with another person, listening intensely to what they're going to say. And boy, what a better place the world would be if political leaders could do that. I'll say no more.
Thank you, Tom. Thank you. So the next piece is called Peacock. Our peacock is a beautiful one. It's a delicate one, elegant one, not like the peacock in Kung Fu Panda, that animation. That peacock is pretty evil. I don't know why they create an evil peacock, because in Chinese culture, peacock is symbolized the kindness, beauty, and the freedom. And I really like when there's tail, like make a fan. It's really beautiful. So the initial name of this piece was Wing. So I think Tom gave me that keyword before we started. So I guess we create some sounds relate to wing. Hope you like it. Peacock. Thank you. Thank you very much. The next one is Breaking Airy. I think Tom have some words for this one.
Yeah, so this next piece is Breaking Array, and this is what we're trying to convey here is two armies and getting ready for the confrontation. It creates a feeling of maybe fear and trembling, and so that also is going to have frequent changes of tempo. So if you can imagine that your heart is racing, and then you get you have fear that overcomes you, and then courage takes over that. So that's what we're trying to depict in this music. I hope you can appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you very much. So the next music, it's called Seclusion, and Tom played on my favorite instrument, handpan. Tom, could you introduce that one?
Yeah, I'd be happy to. So seclusion is represents one of the principal concepts of Tao, and that is to live in harmony with nature. If you can live in harmony with nature, you can begin to live in harmony with yourself. If you live in harmony with yourself, you can live in harmony in your household, and then your village and your neighborhood, and ultimately the whole world. So this is our kind of sincere prayer that we can find that.
Thank you. I hope you found a little bit of peace from this music. So I think we are pretty close to the last one of tonight's concert. Before that, I would like to say thank you very much again to everyone for attending this concert. And I saw many beautiful smiles. Thank you for your supports. And thank you to Asian North 2021 for having us on this fabulous, diverse event. We're looking forward to share more music with you in the future, and you can follow us on our website, don'tseemusic.com, and be sure to keep watching the updates about the upcoming album, The Way, and we are looking forward to chat with you later as well. So I'm give the screen to Nerissa right now. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, unmute. I've enjoyed this concert so much. This was so lovely. And it was nice to see everybody also. So you audience members brave enough to turn on your camera, and just having that feedback is so, important for musicians to, engage and just have the energy, even like when we're in this virtual setting. So I'd like to thank you all for coming. I'm still in that space of that last piece, and I wanted to, let's see, go through some of this chat and have answer a question. There was one from Tian Sui who asked, and I copied it here and posted it. I'm blown away by Tom's playing so many different drums. Is this like speaking different languages in that you have to really focus on how you're playing each different type of drum? Do you have to switch gears mentally?
Well, first of all, thank you for your kind comment. It's interesting the way that I've kind of put this concept together with what I do. With all my traveling that I've done, I've discovered that there are certain rhythms that keep circulating over and over and over, regardless of which culture I'm visiting or drawing from. In the same way, there are only so many efficient ways that a hand can move on a drum, is what I've discovered. It doesn't matter if it's African or Indian or Middle Eastern. So when I'm playing, I'm thinking a lot less about the specific drum that I'm playing, and more about the sound that I'm going for, the rhythm that I'm going for, and then the physical gestures that I have. Really, I might use the same gesture on any a dozen different instruments. So it's not like, oh, now I'm playing the piandero, now I'm playing the djembe, now I'm playing the cajon. It doesn't really work that way. I'm hearing a sound, I'm hearing a totality of rhythm. Since I come from a drum set background, drum set players are always playing cymbals and snare drums and something with their both feet. So that concept is very much ingrained in me. I'm frequently utilizing my hands in addition to striking implements. But yeah, if you'd like to, you can visit our website, and if you're interested in some of my other stuff, I have a lot of educational videos on my playing concepts. But thank you.
And are we taking more questions now, or are we going to your final piece?
Oh yeah. So I do see Joanna posted several questions. Can I just pick one and answer very quick, Joanna? So I
have lots of questions too.
I'd love to answer maybe. So when you say strict criteria, do you mean the playing technique, or you mean the condition of that instrument?
So when Tom was talking about you earlier, and he said the only melodic instrument he had was the one that he played at the end, he said that was the only one that would meet your criteria.
Yes, because my instrument needed a lot of tuning before the show, and also it depends on if I play with classic music, definitely I have to tune it perfectly. If I play a folk music, they may forgive me a little bit. But for the instrument, the hand, it's I think it's hardly to tune on the stage. So I have to follow that instrument. So that's sometimes it dropped me a little crazy. That's a strict criteria. Yes. So I think we're ready for the last piece. The last one is called White Horse. So there is a white horse. We want to tell you another beautiful symbol of Chinese culture. So white horse always symbolize freedom, holiness, and I think royalty, and many great auspicious things. So I hope you enjoy it.
Bravo, wonderful.
Thank
you very
Thank you so much. I do have one more question that I'd just like to hear what your very first collaboration was like when you first sat down together, and just quickly what clicked right away, and what what made you know that this was going to work?
Do you want to go first, Chao?
Yeah, I have to go first because because so 3 years ago I was the artist in residence of Strathmore Music Center. So by then we were required to do the concerts and workshops at the very end of the program. So I was thinking, I really need to find musicians to collaborate with to play at my concert. So I just opened one day. I was browsing Facebook's posts and I saw one of the Tom's video. He was playing on darbuka, and I thought, oh, that's amazing. I really need to contact with this guy and I really want to play with him. So I sent a private message to him, said we should play together, very direct. So then Tom replied, oh yeah, why not? Let's get together, play some music sometimes. But I never heard again. So I was trying to contact again, and I even followed him after a concert. I saw him because by then Tom was the mentor of last year of that program. So we met after the concert. I tried to follow him and talk to him, but he walked so fast. I totally lost. Then we got connected by email through one of the mentor of my year. So that kind of the start of the collaboration. And Tom?
Well, as you might imagine, I was playing hard to get. It's I'm so used to being stalked by beautiful women that it wasn't really that big of a deal for me. But no, the part that is very profound to me was after I finally relinquished that we would in fact get together and play. It was a very sensitive time for us because our dog of 13 years, what we knew was going to be put to sleep like the next day. And when Chao came over and played, it was magical. It was what I was saying about the magic is not in the sheet music. The magic is in experiences like that, a personal experience that you draw somebody in, and then it's a shared experience with another person. And so I immediately knew that this was something that I wanted to pursue. And we recorded a previous album out of the blue, and it's like I said, playing with Chao is effortless. It's like Tai Chi or something. It doesn't require a lot of energy. It doesn't require a lot of brain thought. It requires sensitivity. So yeah, that was it. I played hard to get, and I'm glad I did.
There's one more question. Amy Bolt is asking, throughout your musical journey, what is the most unique event you have played?
Huh.
I'll start.
Okay.
So I play a lot of gigs, performances, shows. In the past 10 years, 20 years, I started this instrument since I was 5 years old. Can you imagine like how long I played? Like, let me count, 31 years. So that's pretty long. So many gigs happens during my past life. So I think I can really, it's really hard to tell which one is the most unique one, but I can tell you to move to this country is very special for my musical career. I think I totally get refreshed and reshaped in this country. I became an improviser. I can imagine that because before I moved to this country, we don't, and I can see we don't, but we barely improvise in the traditional Chinese industry, music industry. So I changed it a lot. Do my musician friends attribute a lot to my change, and I really enjoyed all of my collaborations. Like the collaboration between Tom, the ensemble I joined, Project Localia, and the others, duos, everything. I'm just so blessed.
Well, I guess I've had some pretty unusual careers too. That I'll skip the part that was around 14th and H Street by the time, when I was like in high school. But later on, I went to I would say one of my more unusual events was when I was touring in Iraq. I was going to performances in a helicopter because they didn't want they didn't want to risk roadside bombs. And I found myself in, and I can't even remember the name of this small village, but it was between Baghdad and Basra where I left. And it was there had been a death threat on me because it was during Ashura, so it was not the time for a blonde, if I had hair, blonde, blue-eyed guy to be out there playing drums. And so the people, my sponsors at the State Department said, well, you should know that there are you've had some death threats against you, but we think we have it covered. But you also should know that there's 20 young Iraqi men that have walked about 5 to 10 miles to see the American drummer. So I mean, what humility that brought to me, and so of course I did it, and it was at once a terrifying and also was maybe one of the most exhilarating musical experiences I had because once again we had that shared experience of both being in danger with music being the reward.
Joanna just reminded me of a couple questions she had earlier. Are you able to answer a couple more?
Sure.
Okay. Well, Joanna, is there a specific one you wanted to know?
Go back to the chat and find them.
Let's see.
Let's see. So, Tom, how did you come to developing the kit you're working with now?
Well, it's kind of always a work in progress, and and I guess I should also say that I'm now working on a lot of these same concepts, but applying it on a more traditional drum set. But it came to be, it was pretty organic. I was looking for instruments that I could play with my hands, and I was looking for registers of instruments. So I like the way that has a very low register. This also, it almost sounds like you would never really hear pandeiro and djembe played together, but I like the harmonic overtones that they create. And so I have to sit on something, I might as well be making noise with it. And then the bongos just, I was looking for something that was in that high frequency, kind of like a darbuka. So I do play the darbuka as well. But I like to play these because I can play them within the context of all the other instruments. When I'm holding the darbuka, it kind of becomes the main instrument that I play. But I'm always adding other instruments, and as you saw that this is a good selection of my instruments, but it's a rather small representation of them. If you were to see behind the magic curtain here, you would be very scared, trust me.
Thank you. And I don't know if Chao partially answered this question in your last response, but I'm so curious how you came to be playing the music that you're playing now on your traditional Chinese dulcimer.
Oh, well, it seems I spent my whole life on this one, so that is my major instrument. After I came here, I didn't brought this instrument here. My mom brought this here because I didn't expect it to start a career here. So, but my mom said, "Don't stop, just don't give up." And so when she visited me after my first year came here, she brought this one to me, and just like opened a magic world. Everything happened, and yeah, just like now. So I think the most important thing to introduce your own culture, like I would love to tell people about my traditional Chinese music, the best way is to communicate with the others. So you have to get used to play with the others, like different genres, just to be brave to try those genres to play, and open your heart and build up this all these conversations, and you find your way to position yourself, and you did better. I believe that. Yeah. So that's why I insisted to use my own instrument to compare to the other musicians' music.
Wow. So I guess we all have to thank your mom for bringing your
Yeah.
instrument. That's how we're all here.
A great mom.
Yes. Any questions from the crowd? Feel free to unmute yourself. Well, thank you all so much. This was such a beautiful, wonderful concert. Thank you, Chao. Thank you, Tom. And we look forward to hearing the announcement of the release of your new album, The Way. So please do, post it when it's out, and you said end of May. And we look forward to being able to hear this music again, and hopefully we can hear you perform in person. I know we're all looking forward to having hearing live music in person soon, but this was definitely, the sound was great on my end, and just being able to be up close, in this way to your instruments, and just seeing you, all the intricacies and the rhythms and everything. It was just so special. So thank you so much for bringing your music, and we look forward to hearing more from you both. Thank you so much
for hosting us.
And I want to once again thank all of our supporters for making this event possible. Special thanks to AA and CC Director Joanna Picori for handling the tech, and Amy Bolt for managing the chat, and Sherry Knox for the transcription. And I'd like to remind everyone to please complete the online event survey, because it really helps us with planning programs and being able to present programs like this. So we love sharing cross-cultural dialogue, music, art. You have it, and anything to bring us all together in this way. So and do show your support with a donation to the Asian Arts and Culture Center. So thank you again all for joining us, and have a good night and stay safe.
Good night.
Good night.